Hey, thanks for tuning to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor. Thanks for checking me out. So, you know what it's like? It's like you're listening to a great record and you really are enjoying the songs. And at the end of the songs, at the end of the record, it ends. You flip over the record, you play the other side, and now it's really over and it's over. So then you're like, I want to hear more songs. That was great. That was the best band ever. That music sounded really good. But then you realize there's no more songs. And there wasn't any songs from that band. There weren't any extra songs. That was it. That was their one hit record. That was it. So you're like, wait a second, I really got to hear more songs. So then you just start, humming along and you start making up more songs. And and you're just kind of like humming along and making these songs that are like the songs that you heard before, but they're new songs. So then you start humming along, and then you kind of pick up a guitar player and you record it, and you record bass and drums and all, and you start doing some vocals, and you make a song because you want that song to keep playing. That's what it's like. So I just thought I'd tell you what it's like. It's like this guy went and he starts running, this race. And he starts running a race, and everybody's running, and he wants to get better and faster, but he can't see the other racers, so he's just like running, and he's running, and then he doesn't realize that he kind of knows that he passed the finish line, but then he's like, I still got some life left in me. I want to keep running this race. So then he just keeps, running. And then finally, he does a lap and he catches up to the other people, and they haven't even finished, the finish line yet. And he's like, so this is a hard race, right? And the people like, yeah, oh my gosh, that finish line's so far away. And then he goes, well, yeah, it's hard the first time you pass it, but around the 50th time, it gets a little easier. They're like, what do you mean you lapped me 50 times? And he's like, well, yeah, I've been running this race. I thought you just keep running. And they're like, I haven't even crossed once. You crossed the finish line 50 times? And like, yeah. And it's like, how you run the race is you got to put your foot in front of the other foot, and you have to pump your arms, and you have to do this and you have to do that, and people are like, oh, okay. And then they just start doing their own thing. So that's kind of like, the way it is. It's kind of like a guy who finds this, a treasure, and he finds this treasure, but he doesn't know, he kind of knows it's a treasure, but he knows it's there, so he buys the land, he just buys the land where the treasure's on. He saves up all his money and he buys the land, but then the treasure is on the land. So now what does he do? He has a treasure. You know, he keeps it hidden because it's on the land, and if he exposes a treasure, maybe people will steal it from him, or maybe, you know, or maybe he'll be just, people be envious of him, and then he's screwed. So he has this land and he has the treasure, but he knows nobody will understand this treasure that he has. He has it and he wanted it, but now he has this treasure. Now he has to guard it. So now he puts up, you know, a wall and fences, and now he's like, oh, I have this really important treasure, but nobody even knows it kind of exists. So why even bother? You know? It's kind of like that. You know, it's like this guy has this, you know, vineyard, and he takes this vineyard and he has these really, really good grapes that makes this fantastic wine, right? And people drink the wine, they don't get hungover, and they don't even get that drunk. They just makes them happy, and it tastes really good. It's like the best wine ever. So then he puts a hedge around it, and he finds these wine, you know, these grapes. So he builds a wine press, and he has this awesome, you know, he builds this vineyard, and he starts, you know, bottling the wine. But then he's like, you know, this wine's great. What do I charge for this wine? I mean, what do I make it? $1,000 a bottle, $500 a bottle, $1 a bottle? How do you know? So it's just really great. So what do you do with this wine? So he takes the wine and he just bottles it, he stores it, because he doesn't, you know, really need the money. He just knows he's supposed to do something with this wine, but it's this like great wine, but he wants to share it. But what does he do? He guards against it, because, you know, people are just gonna exploit this wine. They're gonna drink the wine, and then they're just gonna not value it, you know? So what does he do? He gives it away. He gives away the wine because he knows you can't charge enough for it. So since its value is so high, it's priceless. So he gives it away for free to his friends, to his colleagues, to his associates. He just gives the bottles away, you know, for free. And that's the way he does it. It's like the guy with the treasure. He has this great treasure, but now what does he do with it? So he starts giving it out on his land. He starts giving it away, you know, for free, because it's just so priceless. He doesn't know what else to do with it, and he's just sitting on the land. And it's like that guy with the record. You know, he has this music, but he just starts singing, you know, he starts making songs, but it was just such a good thing. He just feels like he has to do it. So that's the way it is. All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.